Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is LO3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, and it is the afternoon to be exact, March 13, 2014, and podcasting within this beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. Yeah, I'm just taking a little browsing around here on my computer, and I found a couple of interesting articles. So it'll be two this time. And the first one is from Deadline Miami, which is a Miami Herald blog. And it's entitled, Cops, Vampire Trucker Kept Sex Slave in His Semi. And I'm going to read this and give my intake. So let's begin. A vampire trucker from Florida is accused of keeping sex slaves, filling down their teeth, and wearing his own false fangs. The driver allegedly kept slaves in his semi while traveling the country. Timothy J. Fafidis, 54, made an initial appearance Wednesday in U.S. District Court in Fargo, North Dakota, and now will be transferred to Utah for further proceedings. Charges against him including kidnapping, transportation for illegal sexual activity, and possession of child pornography, and could bring a life sentence if he's convicted. His public defender, Richard Henderson, could not be reached for comment. An arrest warrant filed Tuesday in Salt Lake City claims Fafidis kidnapped a 19-year-old female relative who had come from Florida in May 2013 to work with him on his truck, the Twilight Express. After a week, the teen told Fafidis she wanted to go home, but she later told authorities that he strangled her until she blacked out and used threats and violence to keep her with him for the next 6 months while they traveled to Washington State, Nevada, Texas, Tennessee, and other states. Despite her pleas, Fafidis forced the teenager to have sex with him more than 100 times during the time together, a criminal complaint states. He chipped down the girl's teeth and had her wear a fake set, and wore his own false set that featured vampire fangs, the teen told investigators. Fafidis was arrested at Clay County, Minnesota way station on November 26 after officers noticed bruises on the teenager and turned up a 1999 restraining order barring Fafidis from contacting the girl. After his arrest, a second woman went to authorities to report she had been held captive in Fafidis' truck, according to the warrant. The woman told detectives she met the driver at a Salt Lake City truck stop in April 2012. She agreed to have dinner with them and go into his truck, according to a report. But Fafidis told her about 10 minutes into the ride that she was going with them for a week or more. The woman said Fafidis kept her with him for about 3 months through threats and violence, forcing her to have sex with them nearly every day and calling her his slave, authorities say. She said he had her hair cut and colored to disguise her identity and forced her to marry him. The trucker faced state charges in Minnesota in addition to the federal courts. He's in the Clay County jail awaiting transfer to Utah. Yes, it was posted actually today, 12:45 p.m. by Jeff Kleinman, Associated Press. Yeah, one thing, the big issue within the United States and around the world, which is human trafficking. This is just an example. Although they do it more into a bigger load, I would say. More bigger parties. They take them to sweatshops, or they have them do pornography, snuff films, etc. And if this is the case, I hope this bastard, based on the information in the trial, this bastard should get a lot more than what he deserves. Because the truth of the matter is, I despise people who believe you have to conscript others' lives on how to control freaks, scapegoat hunters, and chicken hawks. Those are a few people I despise. And hopefully justice will be done for this young lady. And how about many others he was involved with, been victimized by this man. And human trafficking is very dangerous. And that's why, even on a federal level, it's considered involuntary servitude, which is violates the 13th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. So it can be a federal case. It is legitimate. And hopefully too, this woman can sue his ass if goes to due process and the information is accurate under Title 42, U.S. Code Section 1983. Even if he doesn't have the money, that will be right on his head. And that's really my intake on this particular story. Next one I'm going to be hitting is from the Sun Sentinel, which came out last night, released last night, March 12th, and maybe some controversy for a lot of folks, but it's entitled House Panel Votes to Arm School Employees. This is written by staff writer Leslie Postal, and I'm going to read this, and plus we're going to look at the bill, and the main title and all that, and probably look at some of the language from the original text. I will put this on my Facebook page too. Spreaker page. So, and okay, well, I'll proceed. South Florida school leaders aren't concealing their opposition to legislation that will allow school employees to be armed. A House Education panel approved HB 753, which will allow districts to have at least one school safety designee on each campus. That person will carry a concealed gun, but would first need to meet firearm and school safety training requirements. Right now, only school law enforcement officers are allowed to carry guns. We don't believe that arming administrators and teachers is the right solution to ensure the safety of our schools, said Broward County Superintendent Robert Runcie. We need to continue working with local law enforcement, school police, school resource officers, campus security specialists, and monitors to maintain safety learning environments. Palm Beach County schools officials are also opposed. The school district of Palm Beach County believe that only trained law enforcement professionals should be carrying weapons on a school district property, spokeswoman Natalia Powers said. Multiple factors must be taken into consideration during the crisis situation. For this reason, schools have a crisis team and protocols in place to ensure safety of the students, teachers, and staff. Miami-Dade School Board voted Wednesday to oppose the bill as well. The bill is a reworked version of Armed Teachers Bill that died in the legislature last year, but both are a response to the failed shootings at Sandy Hook Elementary in 2012 in an effort, one lawmaker said, one additional gun for the good guys. To be tapped to carry a gun, the person would have an active duty or retired military or law enforcement officer or licensed carrier to conceal a weapon. Representative Dennis Baxley, Republican from Ocala, said previous laws made schools gun-free zones were well intended but advertently left schools defenseless if a monster got on campus. They don't even have a water pistol in which would full charge to the gates of hell to confront this monster, he said. I think it's time to embrace this. Firearms save people's lives. That's why police carry them. The bill, with strong support from the House Education K-12 subcommittee's Republican leadership. But Democrats on the panel said school districts did not support the legislation. They are saying Army administrators and teachers did not guarantee any more safety in the school system. That was in there now. Representative Groen Clark Reed, Democrat from Deerfield Beach. Andrew Landowski, a Carl Springs parent who chairs Broward School Facilities Task Force, said he thinks this bill could benefit charter schools. Small charter schools did not have the financial resources to pay for a resource officer, he said, these schools are vulnerable. Representative David Wood, Republican from Daytona Beach Shores, said it was a creative solution to school safety worries and provide one additional gun for the good guys. Representative Greg Stubbe, Republican from Sarasota, the bill's sponsor, said schools would have to create an armed designee program, but the legislation could aid campuses that feel vulnerable. Let's give our Constitution God-given rights to defend ourselves, he said. Yep, so Scott Travis, too, he contributed this report. It's interesting because some folks have to realize overall who's in the first line of defense. Individuals. They believe all police officers, school officers, come on. I'm not knocking them at all. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of these schools, like what happened in Sandy Hook, Columbine, and a few other government schools, or private schools, were based on these shootings, they occurred in firearm-free zones. I know I repeat that, but it's giving these folks the facts. And these school board members don't get it. The truth of the matter is, the police aren't obligated to protect people. There's no guarantees. You can't even sue them. I'll put that Florida statute on there too on my Spreaker page to make that fact. In addition, look up Wong versus the City of Miami. Another example about the police protection myth. They still believe it exists. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Do your homework. When's the last time you yahoos claim to be school officials? Educate yourselves on these. This is what's disturbing. They want all of us to live in a wet dream. It's unacceptable. Because the fact is, these school board folks believe in the underdog theory. It only works in cartoons, not in the real world. And the sad thing about it, there's criminals out there understands that particular language. If they use violence against innocent people, then you have to give them that same conflict. And it's a shame. But I always say, I believe in arming these individuals. Have the training. Everyone has to take the initiative. They all have responsibilities and a higher standard. It doesn't mean it'll be the first thing they'll use. It will be the last resort. And so I'm gonna do a little look. I'm looking at this here. This is from the floridahouse.gov, and it was authored by Stubbe, HB 753, School Safety, co-sponsored Eagle and Raburn. And the main idea is school safety provides exception to a prohibition on possession of firearms or other specified devices on school property or other specified areas for authorized concealed weapon or firearm licenses as designated by school principals or district superintendents. Provides requirements for designees. Requires school boards to formulate policies and procedures for dealing with active shooters and hostage situations. Require that active shooter training for each school can be conducted by a law enforcement agency, that is, first responder agency for school. Required plans for new schools be reviewed by law enforcement agencies for specified purposes, and that their recommendations be incorporated in plans before construction. Contracts may be awarded. Permits district school boards to commission one or more school safety officers on each school campus. If this gets passed or signed, it will be in effect July 1st of this year. And there's a similar bill to that. It's Senate Bill 968. Yeah, well, check out the language here from the original text. And I'm just going to try to find out where it's at. Where are you bastards? Alright, here. Boom. It is like 25 pages long, to be exact.